January 19, 1909. Philadelphia. Officer James Sackville is walking his beat when something drops from the sky onto a rooftop ahead of him. It's not a bird. It's not human. He draws his revolver, fires. The thing spreads massive wings and disappears into the night. Sackville files an official police report. He's one of hundreds who will do the same that week. Here's what makes this different. He had nothing to gain. He risked his career, and dozens of other officers would report the exact same thing. Over 7 days in January 1909, thousands of people across New Jersey and Pennsylvania saw something. Schools closed, factories shut down, city councils held emergency sessions. Something that haunted the Pine Barrens for 2 centuries suddenly became everyone's problem. The question isn't whether people saw something. The reports are documented, official. The question is, what were they actually seeing? The origin. Long before 1909, the Lenape people called the Pine Barrens Popuessing, the place of the dragon. They had stories about something in those forests, stories that predate European settlement by centuries. Then came the colonists, and with them, a new version of an old fear. The story goes like this. 1735. A woman in the Pine Barrens, Mother Leeds, the legend calls her, is pregnant with her 13th child. She's exhausted, desperate, poor. In a moment of rage or despair, she curses the unborn baby. Let this one be a devil. The birth seems normal at first. A boy, crying, human. Then the transformation begins. The infant's face elongates into something horse-like. Bat wings tear through its back. The feet become hooves. A forked tail emerges. It grows impossibly large, kills everyone in the room, and vanishes up the chimney into the Pine Barrens. That's the myth, the campfire story, the tale designed to keep children from wandering into the wilderness. Except the sightings didn't stop. 1740s. A clergyman claims to exorcise it. Supposedly works for 60 years. Early 1800s. Naval hero Commodore Stephen Decatur is testing cannons at Hanover Iron Works. He sees the creature, fires directly at it, hits it. The creature keeps flying. Decatur was a decorated officer, not prone to fantasy, not someone who needed attention. 1840s and 50s. Livestock disappears across southern New Jersey. Strange tracks appear in snow. Families hear screams in the night that don't sound like any animal they know. 1894. Multiple townships report sightings over several days. The pattern repeats: winged creature, horse-like face, incredible speed. Each report adds consistency. Wings, hooves, the scream. Always the Pine Barrens. Always elusive. For over a century, the Jersey Devil was a local phenomenon. A regional ghost story. Then came January 1909, when the local legend went viral. The week that changed everything. Something was different about the winter of 1909. The cold came early. Snow covered New Jersey and Pennsylvania deeper than usual. And something started moving through those frozen skies. January 16th. Bristol, Pennsylvania. John McCowan hears something on his roof. When he investigates, he sees it clearly enough to give the Burlington County Herald a detailed description. About 3.5 feet high, with a head like a collie dog and a face like a horse. It had a long neck, wings about 2 feet long, and its back legs were like those of a crane, and it had horse's hooves. Specific details, measured estimates. Not "I saw a monster," but "here are its dimensions." January 17th. West Collingswood. Fresh snow becomes a canvas. Tracks appear overnight. Strange tracks. They don't match any known animal. They appear on rooftops, in enclosed yards with no entry points, leading to and from nowhere. People photograph them, make plaster casts. The tracks show something bipedal with hooves that could either leap enormous distances or fly. January 18th. The sightings multiply across the region. Haddon Heights. A trolley car is attacked mid-route. Passengers scream. The motorman sees wings beating against the windows. Camden. Dogs refuse to go outside. Those that do stay pressed against their owners, trembling. Woodbury. Families find tracks leading to chicken coops. Dead birds inside with broken necks. Nothing eaten, just killed. January 19th. Philadelphia erupts. The police department is overwhelmed. Officers respond to dozens of calls. Then officers start seeing it themselves. Officer Sackville's encounter makes the Philadelphia Evening Bulletin front page. Other officers come forward. They all describe the same thing. January 20th. The city stops functioning. Factories close when workers refuse to leave their homes. The Atlantic City trolley system shuts down after multiple reported attacks on cars. Armed groups form to patrol neighborhoods through the night. In Gloucester City, the fire department responds to a call. Something is perched on a shed. They turn their hoses on it. It flies away. These aren't civilians panicking. These are firefighters, trained observers, who used municipal equipment to respond to a threat. January 21st. The phenomenon peaks. Camden. Daniel Flynn and his wife watch the creature through their window for 10 minutes. Close enough to see its breathing, its eyes. It stares back at them. Trenton. The city council convenes an emergency session to discuss public safety measures. Schools across the region cancel classes. Parents keep children inside. The fear isn't abstract. It's visceral, documented. January 23rd. It stops. No more sightings. No more tracks. Whatever it was simply vanishes. The explanations that don't quite fit. The newspapers had theories immediately. A sandhill crane, blown off course during migration. These birds reach 4 feet tall with 7-foot wingspans. They produce unearthly shrieks. But sandhill cranes don't have hooves. They can't leave tracks on rooftops. And they don't attack trolley cars repeatedly. Mass hysteria fueled by yellow journalism. The newspapers absolutely embellished. The Philadelphia Evening Bulletin saw circulation spike dramatically. But here's the problem. The first detailed reports came before the media frenzy. John McCowan described the creature on January 16th. The Evening Bulletin didn't run their story until the 19th. The tracks were real, photographed, cast in plaster. Multiple witnesses gave identical descriptions before they could have read each other's accounts. An elaborate hoax. Jacob Hope, a Philadelphia promoter, exhibited a captured Jersey Devil at his museum during the peak of the panic. It was a kangaroo with fake wings painted green. Clever publicity stunt. But it came after the sightings started. Hope capitalized on existing fear. He didn't create it. And here's what's interesting. The Smithsonian Institution sent researchers. Their conclusion? Unknown phenomenon. Not misidentified bird. Not mass delusion. Unknown. The patterns. Look closely at what doesn't fit comfortable explanations. The consistency. Dozens of witnesses across multiple towns described identical physical features before media coverage could synchronize their stories. Horse-like face, bat-like wings, hooves. Specific details remained constant. The impossible tracks. Footprints appeared on rooftops, in enclosed spaces with no entry points, in straight lines across miles of snow. Whatever made them moved in ways conventional animals cannot. The professional observers. Police officers, firefighters, postal workers, government officials. These weren't people prone to fantasy or seeking attention. They filed official reports. They discharged weapons. They used city resources to respond. The timing, 1 week, hundreds of sightings, then nothing on that scale ever again. If it was hysteria, why did it stop so suddenly? If it was an animal, where did it go? If it was a hoax, who coordinated it across 2 states? The place itself. Maybe the answer lies in the Pine Barrens themselves. Over 1 million acres of dense wilderness. Acidic soil that prevents deep-rooted trees. Water the color of dark tea. Vegetation that grows twisted and low. A landscape that feels fundamentally wrong. For centuries, the Pine Barrens harbored people who didn't want to be found. Criminals, smugglers, religious outcasts, communities that existed by their own rules, isolated from outside authority. Even today, there are places in the Pine Barrens where cell signals die, where roads disappear into sand, where you can walk for hours without seeing another human being. less than an hour from Philadelphia. What if something actually lives there? Not supernatural, not cursed, just an unknown species adapted to one of America's strangest ecosystems. We've been wrong before. Mountain lions were declared extinct in eastern states for decades. Then trail cameras proved they never left. The coelacanth was thought extinct for 65 million years until fishermen started catching them in 1938. But this requires believing a 7-foot flying creature with hooves has avoided capture for 3 centuries in one of the most densely populated regions of America. That's a considerable ask. Unless it isn't. What remains? The sightings didn't end in 1909. 1951, Gibbstown. A group of boys sees it. 1960s, merchants offer $10,000 for capture. Nobody collects. 1993, a park ranger reports an encounter. 2015, something strange is photographed over Galloway Township. Each generation produces new witnesses. The descriptions stay consistent. We can document January 1909, the closed schools, the police reports, the plaster casts, the genuine terror. What we can't explain is what people actually saw. A cryptid? Maybe. But where's the body? Mass hysteria? Possibly. But why the identical descriptions? Elaborate hoax? Could be. But who benefits? The Jersey Devil exists between evidence and proof. Between what hundreds documented and what we can verify. January 1909 happened. Something moved through those towns. Something left tracks. Something made governments respond. The Pine Barrens still stand. Dark forests, abandoned towns, places where wilderness wins. If something wanted to hide, that's where you'd do it. What did those people see? What's still out there? The forest keeps its secrets.